This week, I want to discuss the difference between pathogenesis and salutogenesis when it comes to health and wellness. Now, there are two different types of healthcare. I focus more on the salutogenic approach to health and wellness. It wasn't something that I've always been in terms of chiropractic. I probably focused for the beginning of my career on more of the pathogenic approach, and you'll probably be able to see why when we dive into some definitions. But pathogenic and salutogenic will be something that'll tie into some future content. So I just wanted to leave some definitions here and give you a different perspective on health and wellness. Genesis means beginning, so it is the creation. What you're focusing on and where energy goes, that's where it's going to flow. So when we look at the term patho means disease. So putting patho and genesis together, the Webster definition of it is meaning the origination and development of a disease. It is the study of disease, diagnoses, and treatment of those diagnoses. And this is typically what we'll find in most healthcare. This is where I used to focus a lot of my time and energy with patients on. And when we link the word pathogenesis, basically what we're focusing on is the creation of disease. Now, when we look at the salutogenic approach, it is, by definition, how people stay well when encountering periods of stress. So who here is stressed? I think all of us are raising our hands at that point. So it's neat to see that salutogenesis is looking and focusing more on your stress, your management, and how your body is functioning overall as a whole versus looking at just disease alone. There are some people who, when they get diagnosed with a disease or disorder, they take that on as their identity and it becomes a part of them, and they just focus on that, and they're not focusing on creating true health and wellness. They're just focusing on that disease, what that disease means, what the signs and symptoms of that disease are, and they just kind of manifest a little bit more with all of that. So looking at salutogenesis, it is focusing on what causes people to be well, creating and building health. When we see these two different approaches with healthcare, you can see how looking at the questions that you're asking about health and wellness and the outcomes and your goals will be a lot different with these two different approaches to your health and wellness. There are two different scenarios I want you to consider when it comes to health and wellness. And this might change your perspective on some health and wellness, or it might blow your mind in some ways. Because I know when I really thought about it, it definitely changed my opinion and definition of what health and wellness truly means. Have you ever gotten a stomach bug? You ate something that did not agree with your body, so you ended up throwing it up, you had really bad diarrhea, and you had a fever. Have you ever had that? Because I know I have. There have been a few times where I've eaten things, takeout, and it just didn't agree with my belly, and spent some time in the bathroom for, a night or two, depending. And I always looked at that as I was sick or something was not right with me. But would you consider that your body is doing exactly what it needs to do to get rid of whatever that parasite was, whatever, little amoeba got into the body and decided to wreak havoc on your body? The fever is to starve it out, to get rid of it, to heat it up and get rid of it. And the throwing it up and hooing it out is to get rid of it as fast and as quick as it can. Instead of it staying in your body and your body trying to just attack it slowly. You want it attacked quickly. You don't want to deal with that for weeks, months, or years. And when we look at other parts of healthcare, so that's saying, okay, we have these symptoms that are going on. Does this mean we're sick, or does this mean that we're not sick? You have that different perspective and shift when you look at that. The other thing I would love for you to consider is a heart attack. Do you know what the biggest sign of a heart attack is? If you answered death, then you are correct. Oftentimes, the biggest sign and symptom of a heart attack is death. So it is a little too late when that happens. However, I would venture to say that someone that has a heart attack likely was unhealthy. They will probably tell you that they were healthy because they didn't have any signs or symptoms, but I do not believe that their arteries began to be clogged overnight. It was probably days, weeks, months, and even years that it took for that heart attack to build up in the body. So is there no signs and symptoms meaning that you're healthy, or does it mean you're not healthy? So it's that kind of perspective shift of signs and symptoms are something to let you know something's going on in the body, but you're not always going to have them for everything that is going on in the body, because your body is adapting every second of every day to just help keep you survive, to keep you alive. So some things to consider when you're looking at pathogenic and salutogenic. With different questions that you ask, you'll get different outcomes and different goals with your health. I hope you have a great week this week. And if you have any questions on this topic, definitely let me know. I'm happy to help, and follow along for more tips and tricks on health, wellness, pregnancy, preconception, and all the things in between. Have a good week. Bye.